Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sabrina. I am a multidimensional channel, and today's video is about what happens when we decide we want to change. And so what happens when we decide we want to change, I'm just gonna channel this like right off the cuff, like this question came to me, and a lot a lot happens when we decide we want to change. When we decide we want to change and break out of addictive and abusive habits and behaviors and coping mechanisms that got us to survive, right? That nothing wrong with that. But when we're ready for the change, we're ready to get out of the stuckness, and we decide, for example, to, we don't want to eat sugar. Let's do PG, right? Say that you're gonna decide that you don't want any sweets anymore, and so the universe will all of a sudden have like free donuts for you, or and you will have to make the choice, like in real life. Like, you will get the opportunity to show that you truly are willing to make the change. And so that happens also with toxic relationships, toxic connections. And I'm not the kind of teacher, guide, mentor channel who is of the I am of like, we had a part in it, right? If you're ready for this, we had a part in this. And when we're ready to face our part, we'll face our part, and the other person had a part in it. And it takes two people to create a toxic situation, right? Sometimes both people are willing to change and transform. Sometimes only one person is, and then you're no longer a frequency match. And so when you decide you don't want to be with, X so-and-so, they will try to change just for the moment so that you stay and continue in the cycle, right? They will do something that you've been waiting for them to do for 10 years because you said that you're leaving. And that is your opportunity to stick to your truth, to stick to your choice, and let the universe know, let the divine know, let your highest self know that you are making this commitment to yourself and you're moving forward. And so that really is what's coming through for what happens when we decide we're going to change. You will notice that people will come back. You will notice that you're the situations will seem to repeat, but it's not because you're doing anything wrong or because you belong there. It's because you're being given the opportunity to choose a different choice in those situations, in those circumstances, so in those relationships with yourself and with others. And so when we decide we want to change, it will take work. We're going to also, now I'm going to shift. We're going to keep going. Other things that are coming through just to keep in mind when you're really choosing and saying you're really ready to do the work of getting out of this, right? Of living differently, of embodying your truth, embodying your divinity, making different choices, rewiring your beliefs, like this important work, right? Until it's not work anymore and you don't have to think about it and you have a new setting, a new baseline. It's beautiful. For some of us, it takes time. For others, it doesn't. So, my wish and my hope for everyone I work with is always for them to do it in less time than I've had to do it, And so it's really not about time. It can be for some of us. But I also feel called to say that to whoever's listening in this video is for. And so there was another message coming. When you decide that you're ready to change, you will slip. It does happen. So when you're breaking old habits, breaking old addictions, right? A lot of my work has to do with rewiring addiction, transforming addiction and abuse, right? So, sorry, I'm closing my eyes. I'm just trying to get the correct, and I'm getting the messages. And so it's really just about being gentle with yourself, expecting that you will have something called a spiritual U-turn. It comes, that term I first learned about out of The Artist's Way, a book by Julia Cameron that's really, really popular and amazing because it's timeless. And it's essentially like that. It's like a U-turn. So you will grow. And this is a different form. So for, let's use alcohol, right? You will, stop doing it, and then perhaps you'll have like a slip and you'll like, you know, take a sip or you'll have a drink. You know, for some of us, I know for me, I've definitely dealt a lot with alcohol in my own life, so I will share that. And I know there's a couple of things coming through about this, you know, so it's, you know, it's gradual. First, I recommend gradual getting out of these things. For some people, cold turkey, like immediately cutting something off and stopping something, works for them and they're ready for it, and they've done like a lot of like the inner mental work or spiritual work or whatever it is that it works for them. So if you're one of those people, that's beautiful. Please honor what is true for you and what you need. This is a collective video, so just giving basic information, baseline information for a big, large, for like collective of us. And for some people like me, sometimes, you know, it's been gradual. So like with my alcohol addiction or like lifestyle, right? Like, you know, sometimes we think like addiction is like this like really, really intense, extreme thing, and it can also just be like in a lifestyle, a habit ingrained. You can see it like that, you know, take out the stigma of it, but it's still an addiction, right? It's a habit, it's a way of being, and if you can't change it as fast as you'd like, that's when you start to bring in that word. It's just wiring. Yeah. And so what I'm trying to say about the gradualness of what I did with alcohol is there were times where like I'd go as long as I could, and then, you know, I'd fall, right? Like I would drink, I would go out. You know, there were different triggers, different factors, and I learned about all of them as I went through the process of committing to not doing, not drinking, not incorporating that in my lifestyle anymore. And so it is a journey. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn, when you decide you want to change, you're going to see that your parts of you that you didn't even realize were operating, things that you weren't ready yet to face. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then you get to a point on the journey where you see that these things were never you anyways. So it's like really weird, right? Like you have to face these like dark parts, these neglected parts, these wounds, these traumas, these programs, these beliefs, these habits, these choices that you've made, and you face them until you don't need to face them anymore, to move through them. And then you're eventually going to get yourself completely out of this. And you will come into a whole new state of consciousness, a whole new way of being. And again, this may not be the path for everyone. For some people, it may look completely different. You just wake up one day and you're just living a completely different way, and you didn't need to do any of these things or think about any of this stuff. So just be aware that your own process is going to be your own process. And, you know, all folks like me can do and all I offer is what I've learned, what I embody, and what I know to be true. And then you take it and you apply it and you figure out what it is for you. That's the beauty of being in a body and being on earth and being here now together. And so when you decide you're going to change, like that is a big, those are some of the big things that's going to happen. You're going to notice that a lot of situations that you're trying to say no to are going to come up. I remember when I stopped smoking, I was being offered free smoking, you know? So that's one thing that comes up. The second thing is that you're going to have to say no, right? Like, or make those choices, however they are. You're going to see those situations over and over. I'm just kind of trying to recap the different things we just went over that came through for you guys, for all of us. You know, what else? It's like, is there anything else that we need to, when you decide you want to change, anything else that we need to hear for our highest good? Yeah, it's that. You're going to see those opportunities again. You're going to see, like, if it's an abusive situation, like the abuse is temporarily going to stop, you know, and then, you know, or like they're going to do things, you know, if it's that kind of situation example, they're going to do the things that you waited for them to do. And then the next thing was, we're going to be facing parts, that you're going to slip, right? That it happens, that you don't have to slip, but it can happen. And then learning to be gentle with ourselves, compassionate with ourselves, learn from it, and then get up and try again, keep going. It's a process. Like, think about how many years you've been doing or not doing whatever it is that you're trying to change and shift and ready to change. So you got it, again, for those, this is for. If you don't need time to do that and you're able to just shift and whatever it looks like for you and your journey and your soul's highest path and your organic timeline, I wish that, and I affirm that for you with your own source connection, your own benevolent source, pure connection, to tap into your own information. I'm just offering different tidbits here. Yeah. And then you'll notice that with the addiction stuff, with the abusive patterns, like the last thing that they want me to share, that I'm getting to share, that's coming through for you guys, is that basically, like, you're going to see, like, that you'll get the different situations that they'll come up. We mentioned that's an opportunity to make a new choice. But you're also going to see that each time it comes, it'll be different. So, like, first, like, you'll notice it, like, you'll be able to, like, become aware in the situation as you're making the choice or as you're doing the behavior, whatever it is for you. And then you'll get another opportunity in a different way, perhaps, for you like, each time you're trying to create more, you'll create more space between when you can actually make a change in the same situation versus when, like, it's just like unknown pattern, like addictive pattern kind of energy. Hope this is making sense. It's like a graphic that's, like, coming to mind. Maybe I'll make it. I've seen some online that are pretty good too, just like adapting some. It's like, first you notice it and you're aware, and then you'll just notice it faster and faster until there it is. Thank you. You'll notice it faster and faster until you actually can make a change. So, like, where you'll notice it before you do it, and you'll have the tools and you'll have the capacity to stop yourself and not do it and choose something different instead of having to live it out a couple of different times. I hope that's making sense for who this is for. Yeah, I know you're getting it, what I'm sharing with you, what I'm transmitting for you. So yeah, that's really what to expect when you decide that you're going to change and you're ready to change. And you'll also see, like, things fall apart, or things will come together unexpectedly, especially when you embark on a really big transformation or a really big program or a container, and you're really saying and making a difference and choosing to be a part of a group, or choosing to really make, like, to hold to your truth, so you'll see a lot of things start to shift around you, and that's a big part of it. Yeah, it's all perfect, it's all divine. Yeah, but those are just some notes. I guess I would say notes on when you want to make a change. I hope that served you. If you have more questions about this, or there's things that come up for you as you're listening to this, please comment and let's talk about it. All right, sending so much love. Bye, family. Till next video.